Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all on frequency. This is ZS6YI operating the DATV Worldwide Net that we hold every Sunday afternoon at this time, 1300 hours UCT. We wish to welcome everybody on frequency today. We'll have a look at the list in a moment. But before we commence, we just want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to have an amateur satellite together with their commercial satellite. Great thanks to that. We also wish to thank AMSAT DL for organizing all this and building the actual satellite for the QO-100 satellite. And we also wish to thank the BATC, British Amateur Television Club, and of course AMSAT UK, all organizations in the amateur fraternity that have actually made this very possible. There are of course many other radio amateurs who have done a lot of programming, software work, as well as a lot of mechanical work like the antenna that Mike developed, the potty. So it's been a tremendous effort, a combined effort of different amateur radio operators around the globe that's actually made this so slick as it is at the moment. And there's always improvements. Every day there's something new being developed, and that's the actual gist of the amateur radio fraternity, is to keep on improving. So with that, I just want to quickly shoot over to our list today. It's not a long one. We have G8PQH. Hello, Frank. Frank, you'll pass it to Martin, G8KOE, who will in turn pass it to Benno in the Netherlands, PA3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, who will then pass it to Wales, Peter, GW7BZY. And I presume, Peter, will you pass it to ZS1 Mike? He hasn't logged in just yet, but I'll log it in for him in a minute. And then, Frank, don't forget to put your microphone and your video on and to get everything synced. I think that was the problem last week. It didn't sync. So get all that ready before I pass it to you. After you, Peter, it'll be ZS1 Mike. And then if no one else enters the list, he can pass it back to me. So, Frank, I hope you've got your aeroplane engines going. G8PQH to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Okay, that seems to be a bit working a bit better than last week. It's still terribly filthy weather here in Chelsea on the south coast, and it was confusing me with not seeing my own signal. I thought the rain had knocked it entirely off, but I wasn't transmitting anything, I think, on this over. So. Well, good morning, Gary. Good afternoon, Gary. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone else on the net. I don't know how many people will join today. Other than trying to earn a living, what have I been doing this week? Last week I was trying to show you the Meteor camera that I've got so many radio projects to work on. I've got the monitoring on my remote amplifier still to sort out. I've got a mag loop project. So cleverly I decided to do a non-radio project as the Geminids meteor showers peaking on Thursday, I think, Wednesday or Thursday the 14th, I thought I would set up one of these cameras to detect it, which looks, I suppose, a bit like if I share my screen. If I share my screen, where have I got my screen share thing? I do not know. Boom, 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 boom. I've lost it. Interesting. It was here a minute ago. Desktop. That's it. Right. So if I share that and look at this, so yes, I think FreeStream has given me some problems. So this is the camera. Have we still got audio? Yes, I think we have. Yes. So this is the camera, which is basically a CCTV camera with mounted on the side of the miniature shack there at the bottom of the garden, pointing up at the sky. What other pictures have I got? Must have some other pictures. Not that. Yeah, so what you do, you get one of these CCTV lenses for a few dollars on AliExpress, and you take the back off, and you break the infrared filter, which is this piece of glass in it, the blue bit that you break out and remove all the bits, and sort of assemble it back together again, and it goes in. Well, I haven't got a picture. I don't think I've got a picture of that. It goes in one of these housings, looking at the sky. You connect it to your Raspberry Pi, and it starts detecting meteors. One thing I found is that my neighbour has an HF antenna, which waves about in the wind and looks a bit like a meteor trail with the light reflecting off it. So I did take some time-lapse pictures and that, but maybe if it's not cloudy on Thursday, I'll have some better pictures to show than last night. But anyway, I will hand it over to Martin, G8 KOE. Let me put my nice, what shall we have? Yes, my nice TV on the beach image, and then I will hand it over to you. This is G8PQH in Selseyville on the south coast with the worldwide DATV Net, and next to transmit, I think, is Martin.
I think we're a go by the looks of it. Hopefully, a bit of sound to come back, and yeah, that was interesting there, Frank. I was watching you on OpenTuner version 8, I think it's what I'm running at the moment, and it didn't like a lot of your signals. It sort of was going all negative, etc. Whereas on the laptop on Longmin client I've got running, and that was quite happy with you. So there you go. We didn't miss anything, but things were chopping and changing a little bit. Well, what I've been playing with, or trying to keep up with, is Node DATV Red rather. OHAN just keeps on adding bits and pieces, and I'm trying to sort of understand and keep up with it, and I'm struggling a little bit at times. But that's where I am at the moment. The program works exceedingly well, and the band scan works well. I did have a problem with that initially because I couldn't understand why it wasn't working. Because I knew I'd got a receive signal connected to my Pluto because I use it on the narrowband end. But I sort of forgot that I'm using a totally different Pluto to run this, which didn't have anything connected to it. So once we connected that, we started to get signals. So yeah, and this morning I had this displayed full screen, which looked somewhat all over the place, like so. And Owen said, reduce your browser size, and it all falls into place. So thanks again to Owen for pointing out the obvious. And to Benno, been testing the 088, and I find that's worse than the V8 version. Get loads of windows opening up either on the top or the bottom. Usually when there's changes in things. Initially it seemed to work okay all day, but I tried to use it on the DATV Net and had to open up another program where there's changes in all sorts of signals. It didn't like it at all. It got very confused. So that's the information there. Getting back to DATV Red, I yet to understand the RX long mid bit at the bottom, the receive part. I can't get my brain around what that should be connected to, how it should be connected to, which programs I should have running, etc., etc. But that's that I would like to understand, but I don't at the moment. But I did get this far, which I was quite impressed, and the also the display, the bit that the top display here is linked up to Tom's program that I've got running locally. So this is all independent of the BATC, the whole lot. So which is quite good. So the quite impressed. But anybody that can point me in the direction of which program I can run. So I've got Longwind client running on the laptop. I can run it on the main PC, but if I run it on the main PC, I don't get any pictures most of the time, and I don't know why. Although yesterday, at one point, it all was working fine, absolutely perfect. It's all networked as such, and you could change one on the main PC, and it would change on the laptop, etc., etc. But then that still works, but the picture disappeared. One other thing I did have was with Minitune that I was running. I lost the ability to control the sound. The sound slider and mute, and that didn't work at all. I found that was due to VLC 32 had updated itself to a later version. So I downgraded that to, I can't think what I'm running at the moment. Have a look. Right, about 3011 is what I'm running at the moment. And that worked fine. That was the right one, wasn't it? I did click on this. I've got both there. Yeah, it was 3011. Anyway, that works fine with the sound. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. Totally confused. Thinking about Christmas. Sorted out a few Christmas decorations that I'll put up during the week online, but we'll keep it basic at the moment. Anyway, see you there, Benno. If you can answer any of the questions and help me from being less confused, would appreciate it. But I'll pop a test card and put it over to you. And yeah, thanks for the link to the other program. And it seemed like it was going to work, but then it didn't. So I've reverted at the moment. I'm running the previous version V8. Is it V8? Yeah, it is V8, isn't it? Yeah, 8. So and that's been okay so far on this net, but we'll see how we go. You're probably going to break it. Test card and over to you there, Benno, from G8KOE.
So that was a complete misfire. Let me switch off the audio and find myself a camera. Hi guys, greetings to the south, the west, the north and the east. Gary, for a special thanks for leading the net. Good as always. And I'm still hear some echo here, which is my own doing. Well, to start with the last part, one of my Dutch fellow hams complained about OpenTuner causing, well, since a Windows update, it caused a web page problem, a web socket problem, and it was complaining about it. It still did run, but it gave me and him that error. And I asked Tom about it, and he gave me quickly a solution for that with a beta version, an early beta version. And as I installed that, I never got another problem yet with it, not with this Windows flouting around on on all my screens. So I believed that might solve some problems for Martin, and that's why I handed him out this early beta version. Tom promised to start working during the Christmas holiday on it, and we are still waiting for many updates we still need for the OpenTuner. So nothing special about that. Since last week I start playing with with DATV Red, which is a marvelous setup. I had all kind of problems setting it up. And first of all, it was me doing all the updatings and changes and reloads and downloads and downgrades of the Pluto with all the versions I have tested over the last year. Probably a lot of garbage was still in there. I ended up needed to DFU that Pluto back to the original one, and then went, after some cleaning, went one straight up, and then it runs flawlessly. And I have played with it, and I'm currently using, and that's a bug in the Red 3.0, but I'm not sure. I have not tested later after that. But my FFmpeg output shows no data. To show you that quickly, that is a good possibility to do that. What I mean is, hang on. Test. Okay. I forgot to have the. So that's the one I needed. Okay. So if you look at this, it sounds familiar, and if you, I can look at a little bit more neat by changing the size of the window. But this we know by now, this is the way it should look. But you'll see the green, which is down here where the FFmpeg output is showing normally its work. On 30 frames per second it doesn't work. But apparently I'm currently transmitting with it and it still works. So I have no clue what's going on, but it works, and it actually gives me a very nice output on my system with less than 3 seconds round trip from transmitting, receiving, transmitting again. Transmitting, receiving again, which is normally way over 3 up to 4 or 5 seconds, up to 6, 7 seconds I've seen in the past. But 3 seconds pretty stable, I would say. So this is something I like and currently work with. By the way, what I also like is the NCO option where you can fine-tune the set frequency, so you finally get exactly on the channel. And even that, I see that Martin and the previous guy and myself and Gary, we are all on a different frequency, and that causes problems with the reception of Open Tuner or Winter Hill on the stream and things like that. Right, by chance, by luck, is pretty wide, but that's also depending on which version, Gary. But it's just a matter of being direct, exactly on the frequency, or slightly off, a little bit high or a little bit low, where the other receivers say, hey, this is the same signal, but it's I cannot detect it because it's slightly off frequency, and AFC is not kicking in. Okay, but that's all information I didn't want to share. What I wanted to share is this beast I bought last week, actually December 1st, as you can see at our main supplier AliExpress, for only 26 euros. And surprise, it came in 7 days. I still wonder how they can do that in 7 days, but today I'm very happy with it. And I have played a little bit with it, and I will show you how it works, because it's, well, for those guys like me, I have so many soldering irons. I didn't have a good complete soldering station. My shack is already overfilled. I don't want too much extra tools. So I said, well, let's give this a test, because I don't have a hot air soldering iron, and I believe it could be in handy. So basically, this is the whole part. It's off now, as you see. It's handy. There is a holding piece here, which I should mount on the wall, because after it's hot you really want to hang it somewhere. It comes with all kind of accessories for bigger outputs and things like that. So it's off now, and if I switch it on, it goes automatically to this temperature, which is preset the last time I was using it. So at this time it's already on temperature, and it was completely cold, as you could see me holding it before. So let's try to take some IC off. And bear in mind, this is about the third or fourth IC I'm going to take off. So this is how it works. And just to take another one off, maybe I should get better pliers. It's so easy to get them off, and the board and the small components next to it are completely there. I'm going to switch it off again, let it cool down, and now I can start cleaning my board to replace the IC with it. So I think for myself it's a great addition onto my shack, onto my repair shop, and it's only, well, ridiculous a low amount of money, and because it's completely separate, you can easily put it somewhere on a cupboard or on a wall or somewhere, because yeah, it still needs a few minutes to cool down. But I think it's a good addition. So this is also something I played with this week. And there are still some other things I was playing on. I actually have worked with Paul from Austria. He was trying to get on the net a few weeks ago. And he's still struggling with his Plutos. He has 2 Plutos nicely built in a cabinet. And one Pluto is now kind of working, and the other Pluto is not working, and I cannot figure out what's wrong with it. It's actually, you can do a view with it, you can do a firmware on it, it runs all without any errors. Empty the memory I did, and when I'm trying to put it on transmit, I put a patch obviously on there. And when I put it on transmit, it cannot go onto transmit. It doesn't work on transmit. It on the browser, on the F5OEO, it never goes on transmit. If I use DATV Easy, I get 2 green LEDs, but it never goes on to transmit. I have really no clue. It must be software related, but I still wonder. By the way, my heat gun is now off. So that's about the presentation. And yeah, live demos never work, but this one kind of worked. Passing it on to Peter. Hi Peter, how's life? WBZY. GW7BZY it was. From Papa Alpha 3, Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Do I have a test card? Yes, I have. Passing it on to you.
Yeah, I think maybe. Okay. Um, must be. The level going back up. This is faultless for me. Well, I've trouble with Pluto over. And But I did have flavors of the Pluto on the DATV. To be the sun. Very rare. The 3 day comment always sent you on the list, I don't think. That's about it here. Here. Technical term. EBU live. Has been done quite. Some comments. This is a cube.
Let me just see, do I have audio? I think so. Let me just see, do I have audio? Yeah, okay. Right. Good day to everybody from ZS1 Mike. The reason your packets are very high. They were 16. I don't know why. Your picture is excellent. It looks like 1 mega symbol. Very, very good. Right, Frank, interesting on your infrared camera that you made there. Yes, I've got some infrared cameras here which I used to use at work, and I put an infrared filter in front of it as well, infrared passing filter. And maybe I must point it towards the sky and see if I can see some meteors. Never tried that, but yes, I know on one of them I could see my soldering iron. If it was nice and hot, I could see the soldering iron. But we used it mainly for detecting infrared lasers when we were testing laser guided bombs and laser guided missiles and things. You need to make sure that the laser is illuminating the target in daylight. So I made these cameras for that application, and it worked very well. Okay, Martin, JKOE, very bad audio sync, like a sentence out. Otherwise everything is fine. Benno, you also had high null packets in the beginning, but they came down to about 6% or so towards the end. Your picture, your camera was also a bit overexposed, like almost washed out in the beginning. It got better later on. Yeah, I see you've got a nice small hot air machine there. That looks good. Well, I've got a big one, but I never use it anymore. I use the infrared thing. It works better for me because I found that with some of the new components, they're so tiny, the hot air blows them away. Especially if you're building new stuff, you know, it's just sitting there on the paste, on the solder paste, and you can't bring that nozzle too close to it. So I use the infrared when there's no airflow, nothing. You have bottom heat and you have top heat, and just, of course the hot air also works much better if you have bottom heat as well. So I made myself a little thingy that you put the board onto to heat it from below, not at melting point, say at about 150-200 degrees, so nothing melts yet, but then you just need a whiff of hot air or infrared, whatever you're using, and everything melts very quickly. Anyway, so yeah, good on that. Peter, yeah, your picture worked fine. Your audio was just about non-existent until you found the pot. And if you want to kill the audio, the receiver audio on Minitune, you just click on the picture, make sure you're not on the biggest picture, one down, then the mute button will appear. But where I'm now, I've got big picture, the mute button is gone. So you just click on it again, it goes a little bit smaller, and the mute button is there next to the audio level slider. I never touch the audio level slider. But yeah, after you moved everything up, your audio is pretty standard now, I'd say. Can't see your LUF meter. Don't know where it appears, but not on your transmit screen. Okay, what did I do? I was in Bredasdorp from Sunday until this Thursday. I had a few things to do there, and I brought back an old power meter, RF power meter, and I'm busy cleaning it. I didn't check it. I'm sure it'll work. It's very similar to a Bird, but it's a Philco. And what interests me is I saw when I started cleaning, I could see on the label a subsidiary of the Ford Motor Company. I never knew that Philco was actually owned by Ford. Very interesting. So yeah. So yeah, that. The other thing is I acquired for nothing, for free, about 350 kilograms of lithium batteries, big ones, in mint condition. And I was so scared because they're not in the final casings. It's just the blocks of cells, some of them with management systems and some of them without. This is some guy who used to build these batteries, and I think he passed away or something, and it was donated to a school there. But when they got the electricians to wire up the whole lot, the inverters and stuff, they said, oh no, they don't touch that. That's very unconventional stuff, and it's very dangerous. So my friend in Bredasdorp, who has a scrap metal place, he said to me, well, can you please come along and check? Because they say this stuff catches fire if you just do something wrong. So I went with him and I had a look and said, no, okay, no, just don't short anything. Move them on mats on the trolley until up to your pickup. And yeah, and then I offered him some money for it, and he said no, he doesn't want money. I must just take them. So I have banks and banks of high capacity lithium batteries here. And I've already ordered 2 control boards so that I can chop off some of the cells and make myself a nice 12-volt pack for the HF radios and stuff, that I can run high power on batteries. And of course it'll be nice for the portable satellite station as well. So yeah, anyway, I've got the standard ones, 48 volt packs, but that's heavy. I'll maybe use one or two on a big inverter, but the others I'll break up into smaller packs, 24 volt packs or 12 volt packs. Fortunately, you get the management boards on the internet very cheap. There's lots of them available. So yeah, that's what I'm busy with my Ford power meter. Busy cleaning that. I hope it works. It's very basic, but yes, it's got a big knob that you turn for forward and reverse, and it can go from 1 watt. It's got notches from 1 watt to I think 250 watts, and it covers 140 megs to 470 megs or something. So yeah, it is usable. Rather big, but it's for rough work. I say it should be okay. Okay, that is it from me, Gary. I did log in, you know, but I think Peter logged in at about the same time, because the date was already there when I started. But I logged in and I pressed the enter, and yeah, there it is. And then when you said, but I haven't logged in, I went there and mine was gone. So I logged in again. So I don't know if I'm still there or whether I'm gone again. But anyway, here I am. ZS6 Yankee India for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Okay, Leon. Oh, Murphy playing the fool with us again today. ZS1 Mike, ZS6YI. Yeah, very good signals all over, I must say. Benno, you see, that little unit's interesting. I wonder if you don't mind sending me a link so that we can have a look at maybe obtaining the exact one. You can just do it on WhatsApp if you don't mind. You've got my number there, and I'll certainly try and get one. I wish we had a 7-day turnaround time from Ali. They take weeks and weeks to get here, whereas Banggood is here within a very short time. So obviously they have their own couriers when it comes to South Africa. But yeah, coming back to Frank, yeah, no, you came up eventually okay there, Frank, and very, very interesting on those satellite things and receivers that you're playing with. That's going to be, well, astronomy. There's a friend of mine, he's now living in the UK. He wrote a book on radio astronomy for the RSGB, and they published it. His name is John Fielding. ZS thing is excellent. It gets up to temperature immediately. Yeah, both Leon and I got the advice from Leon to buy one of these infrared units. They work well, but there's a trick you've got to learn. And the other day I was removing crystals off a LNB, and I thought I'll try my son's hot air, and that worked much easier for me. It was quick, and I didn't destroy the board. So I'm quite keen to look at what you got going there, Benno. And then Peter, yeah, your signal dropped. You were quite strong, but on my ride, you were not as strong as on my mini tuner. And this is a mini tuner that Rolf did. DL, what was his call sign again? I've forgotten. He was DJ7 Tango Hotel. He was on just now, actually. Rolf made a very nice board and stuff, and his receiver is nice and sensitive, but I found that the ride, which I'm using for YouTube, was falling out slightly, so you can just perhaps up the juice slightly, it'll be appreciated. And then Leon, yeah, fascinating, interesting on the batteries. You seem to always come home with a lucky packet full of Christmas goods from Bredasdorp. I think we must all learn the trick, and that's to pally up with the guy that deals in scrap metals, because that chap certainly gets some wonderful things over the years. He's given you some nice gifts there, but all good. There was something else I wanted to comment on. I had a weird problem. We just put in a new gate, what do you call it, intercom system. Now, my house is about 100 meters from the gate, and then in the house, it's about 40 meters between the two stations. I had to go for two stations. And yes, to get this thing working, because it's all IP addresses, and it's we've got an RF link from the gate to the house, an RF, call it a network cable, but it's RF, of course, at 2.4 gigs, no doubt. And we just couldn't get it going. Romeo asked him to come. He came and he put his computer in and he found the IP addresses and changed them. But we could only get the one station to work. Works perfectly, yet he could see the gate's IP from the other station. Anyway, eventually he said, no, you'll have to go and read a book and see what the hell's going on. And so he did. And a couple of hours later, I just thought, for the hell of it, I'll go and try it. My goodness, it's working. So I don't know if it took time for them to sync, but it worked all week perfectly. And today I see my cameras go out, and I said to my wife, I bet you the intercom's not working. Test it. Yep, sure enough, it's not. And then all of a sudden the cameras came back on its own without any help from me. And it's all working. But I went up to the box at the gate, and I think there could be a stray branch just in front of that RF link. So I'm going to get the gardener tomorrow to cut a clear site again. So it could be that, because we've had storms. It was raining. It's still raining here. Wall to wall cloudy, the whole of most of South Africa almost. So it's very nice because it's a lot cooler. And then finally, yes, we got the aircon going. Believe it or not, it was blocked or very dirty filters. Although it's in-house, can't understand where that comes from, but that was cleaned, and a touch of gas either was added or subtracted. I'm not sure. I must still talk to my the guy that does our aircons, who happens to be my brother-in-law. So he quickly came and sorted it, and the aircon's working quite nicely now. So that's been Murphy running around quite mad in this shack. It's time I clean up things. Okay, I'm going to bow out, but we'll give it another round, and perhaps Leon, you'll be last on the list if you can close the net once everyone's had another turn. I'll be monitoring on YouTube, but I'm getting out of the shack. Frank, to you, sir, G8PQH. Oh, sorry, apologies. Before you get on, I just want to say hi to Alfredo, IK1 COA in Italy. I also want to say hi to Paul, OE8PCK. Of course, Paul, you were mentioned by Benno. He said you're getting closer and closer, you're just not transmitting. But we hope it comes up soon, and I hope you can get that sorted. OE7PCK is watching, though. Hi, Paul. Hello, Ishmael. Good to see you on. And then there's Johan Leeman. He's ZS6JPL. He's in Pretoria. He's got everything set up. He must just come on the air now. He's actually receiving on his open tuner. He says he's watching on his open tuner. So those are the guys, just briefly. I don't think I've missed anyone on YouTube watching, although we've got 38 viewers at the moment. We've had 20 concurrent viewers, which is excellent. Right, now, Paul, Frank, that should have given you enough time. G8PQH to take it, please. From ZS6YI, I'll say 7-3 to all, and if Leon can just close the net after he's over, I'll appreciate it. 7-3, guys.
Thank you, Gary. This is G8PQH with ZS6 WYI and the, let's just mute that, with the worldwide DATV Net. Yes, that, let's mute it. I don't know why OpenTuner was struggling with my signal. It may well be this signal rather than anything to do with OpenTuner. I found I'm using a 3Streamer and a 303 version of the software on the Pluto, and I've noticed the 3Streamer keeps stopping for some reason, which totally confused me. I think I need some more screens in the shack to understand that. Okay, Gary, on John Fielding there. I don't know a great deal about astronomy, but there's recently a group of local amateurs have started the Seal Island Radio Group, and one of them is a professional astronomer, and this particular town in Chelsea on the south coast was famous for being the home of the television astronomer Sir Patrick Moore. Used to be on the TV a lot in the UK. So there's a lot of interest in it, and of course you get very dark skies around here because you're mostly looking out over the sea. But so far all I've done is pointed my camera at